Hello, welcome back. Greg Peterson here, listening to me on WGAN or online, your favorite streaming app, whatever that might be. I'm kind of everywhere, been doing this for a long time. Hey, we're going to talk right now about our friend Jeff Bezos. His stock has been kind of interesting this week. Well, with the whole coronavirus and everything going on. Plus, it turns out, I don't know if you heard, Amazon was able to secure some warehouse space down there in New York. So it's obvious that AOC's district is not going to benefit from those jobs because she made sure that they couldn't get in there, but they did manage to get in. Well, Jeff Bezos had a very public divorce happen. You might remember this, of course. He is the richest man in history, and his ex-wife walked away with billions. Now, the story gets kind of interesting when you turn the time back, because what we just found out here in the last week is that Jeff Bezos' iPhone was apparently hacked. Now, I can hear you saying, "Oh, Craig, iPhone's hacked. I thought you said iPhones were impenetrable." Well, obviously, nothing's impenetrable. If it has a plug or any sort of a wire, it can probably be broken into, right? That's kind of the bottom line. But in this case, the backstory is interesting as to what happened here. It wasn't iOS. It wasn't the iPhone's operating system that appears to have been the problem. It appears to be an application that Jeff Bezos was running on his phone. And it might be an app that you use. And I'm a little concerned that, if you're using it, you could be in trouble. But at the same time, I think they probably have fixed the vulnerability that was used. Remember, Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post. It, of course, is a fish wrapper down in Washington, D.C. It's had just an amazing past, some of the things that they've exposed on both sides of the aisle, but primarily they've always been a little left-wing, and now for the last, 20 years, basically since Ronald Reagan, they've been extremely left-wing, and Jeff Bezos bought this paper. And one of the journalists that wrote for the Washington Times' name was Jamal Khashoggi. Now, this guy, Jamal Khashoggi, was, by all reports, not a good guy. And he was, this whole dispute he was involved with between Israel and the Arabs and the attacks that were going on over there. Let's just say he's an interesting character, right? That's just kind of trying to put it nicely. Interesting character. Now, you might also remember that he got some sort of an invitation to a Saudi embassy, and apparently while he was there, there are recordings that were leaked of him being murdered, and apparently he had been dismembered and his body disposed of. Just a horrific, horrific story. Now, the Washington Post had decided that since this Jamal Khashoggi was a journalist of theirs, that they had to do something. And so they did. They really criticized heavily the Saudi royal family, and in particular, they ended up criticizing the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Now, this is a very interesting problem here because Khashoggi wrote articles for Jeff Bezos' paper with titles like "Saudi Arabia wasn't always this repressive, now it's unbearable." Another one, "Saudi Arabia's crown prince already controlled the nation's media, now he's squeezing it even further." Apparently, the Saudi leadership ended up bribing Twitter employees to find out who some of the tweets were coming from that were anti the Saudi Arabian government. And we know that it has been very repressive over the years. I guess we can chalk that up to another country I'll never be allowed to go to, right, after the criticisms. But against this whole backdrop of the murder of Khashoggi and it's obviously not slandering, I don't think, because I think they were right, but of Saudi Arabia, billionaire Jeff Bezos accepted an invitation to this dinner party in Hollywood, which was attended by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, as well as some friends. So apparently Bezos was at this party on April 4th, 2018, and Bezos and the Saudi prince made a key exchange at dinner. And that's where the problems apparently started, because Bezos has an iPhone X. That wasn't the problem. The problem was apparently WhatsApp. Now, I've got to also add that there's denials all over the place here about the Saudis being involved in this. There's denials about WhatsApp being the source of this problem. But I'm reporting here what's in the news right now. And the explanations I'm reading from a technical standpoint are reasonable. So I'm repeating them because they do make sense to me. So apparently on May 1st, so about a month after exchanging these keys with WhatsApp, the Crown Prince is sent a message to Jeff Bezos' phone through WhatsApp. And the message apparently is an encrypted video file, and it's later established, according to SecureWorldExpo.com, it's later established with reasonable certainty that the video's downloader infects Mr. Bezos' phone with malicious code. Now, there's a lot more evidence that's referred to in this article, but basically what happened is that the records showed, when they went back and looked at the phone and they looked at the data utilization through the vendor of the data for his iPhone, it increased by almost immediately by more than about 30,000%. Absolutely crazy. So all of a sudden, his iPhone started sending data out. Well, it wasn't the iPhone per se, it was the WhatsApp app. And it was sending it out, and just crazy amounts of data being stolen from it within hours of that video message being received from the Crown Prince. Now, experts are saying that the most likely explanation for this data being taken out was the use of mobile spyware. And there are some out there. There's NSO Group's Pegasus or the hacking team's Galileo. But we're talking about more than 6 gigabytes worth of data that was removed. Well, it wasn't removed. It was sent from his phone. So the allegations go on and on here. But basically what apparently happened is they got a hold of Jeff Bezos's videos and photos, and man, all of a sudden there's this online campaign against Jeff Bezos in October 2018, and top trending hashtag in Saudi Twitter is boycott Amazon. A single photograph is texted to Bezos from the Crown Prince's WhatsApp account with an image of a woman resembling the woman with whom Bezos is having an affair months before the affair was publicly known. So the Daily Beast then in February 2019 ran this article, how the Saudis made Jeff Bezos public enemy number one. So basically what happened here is his WhatsApp was hacked. It was then used to embarrass him and start the rumors, or at least more rumors, about him having an affair, which ultimately led to Jeff Bezos's divorce, and that ended up costing him, I'm trying to remember now, but it was in the tens of billions of dollars. I don't remember the exact number. Now, if you're a WhatsApp user, is this going to happen to you? I can say, generally speaking, WhatsApp is considered to be safe. Personally, if I had an iPhone, which I do, I would use Messages from Apple. Much, much safer than almost any third-party app out there. There are a couple of companies that I trust. Silence, one of them. But I would use iMessage, hands down, before I would use WhatsApp. No question about it. And, it doesn't mean that your iPhone is not 100% safe or that it's Android is 100% hackable. But in both cases, you got to be careful. One more thing to warn everybody about, and this is unemployment scams. According to the FBI, employment scams, according to the FBI, are on the rise. And they're saying that the average victim's losing $3,000. Here's what's happening. People are hearing that it's a great job market, so they're going online. They're looking for new jobs. They're looking to see, am I being paid enough? What's going on? Well, these cyber criminals are getting people to apply for non-existent jobs and getting their personal information like social security numbers, home addresses, and then on top of it all, having them send money to the criminals, which is absolutely amazing. Big fraud out there going on. Right now, the FBI knows about 15,000 incidents that account for more than $45 million in losses. So be very, very careful online. If you're interested in a job, I can send you a document here that we have called Guidelines for Safe Job Search. Obviously, you can look for that online too, but Guidelines for Safe Job Search, just email me at craigpeterson.com. I'll be glad to forward that along. The FBI statement says applicants are contacted by email to conduct an interview using a telephone application. According to victims, cybercriminals impersonate personnel from different departments, including recruiters, talent acquisition, human resources, and department managers. So there you go. By the way, work-at-home jobs that pay high initial salaries for inexperienced workers is another sign to question the job posting, as if that shouldn't be obvious to everybody. So today we have been busy. I've given you tips and solutions to solve a bunch of security and other problems we talked about today. Email compromises going on, legacy software safe, privacy on facial recognition systems, downtime and cost doubling on ransomware, so what you can do to protect yourself. We covered all of that and of course more. And you can find it. You can just go online. You'll see it posted on my website at craigpeterson.com. You can follow me on Facebook. I have just tons of great stuff up there every week. But by all means, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter to get all of this every week. craigpeterson.com/subscribe. I don't sell it. I'm not going to harass you. I'm going to give you great information and training. Have a great week, and we'll see you online. craigpeterson.com.